How's it going, everyone? My name is Jake. I am a full-time eBay and other platform reseller. I go thrifting and go to garage sales and do some online sourcing and retail arbitrage full-time to sell all of that stuff on eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, and Mercari for a profit. My main platform is eBay. If you guys have any questions about any of those platforms, if you guys have any questions about reselling, if you guys have any questions about taxes or personal finance or wealth building, anything at all, go ahead and ask me and we will get to those questions. Today I wanted to talk about the topic of, does eBay actually limit how fast we can grow? Now, we have only a handful of people in here. I'm going to give you guys just a few moments to hop in before we start speaking about the topic. Those of you that are watching the replay, if you just want to fast forward a couple minutes or go ahead and hear this, that I have a new Facebook page. My last Facebook page, J Ride Flips, was demonetized because I used TikTok approved music, but not Facebook approved music. So I got demonetized and they wouldn't help me get back to remonetization. So I started a new Facebook page, which I linked here in the comments. It's J Ride Picks, different from J Ride Flips. So especially those of you on Facebook and here on YouTube listening, if you could go over to Facebook and type in J Ride Picks and follow my new account there, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, my wife is watching the live stream and she just said no. Thanks, honey. Now, let's talk about how does eBay actually limit your growth as a reseller on its platform? I've heard many people say that there is a certain percentage over your revenue of the previous year, that if you grow to that point, you can't grow past it. eBay just completely stops you in your tracks every time you hit this number. Some people say it's around 50% year over year growth. Some people say it's at about 60 or 70. Some people say it's 100. Other people don't believe that there is a governing system whatsoever. I will give you guys my opinion, and then I'm actually going to tell you what I am planning on doing next year and see if we can accomplish it. So I believe in the beginning, when you are creating your account, that eBay definitely has a ton and a ton of people come to eBay that are just awful sellers. And so they want to govern how many sales and how many views you can actually get in the beginning, just so they can make sure that you are a reputable seller. You're going to ship out items when you say you are, and you're going to give good customer service and actually ship out the items in the condition that you describe them, right? So in the beginning, you can only list a certain amount, you can only sell a certain amount, and you can only withdraw funds up to a certain amount. And this is kind of like a credit score. When you first get a credit card, it may only have a $500 or $600 or $700 limit, but as you use that card and you make payments on time, they extend to you larger credit lines. Now you can use up to $1,200, $1,500, and they continue to give you more and more credit line. I believe eBay is the same way, where you have to prove that you are actually shipping out your items and that they are arriving in described condition and you are giving good customer service, and they will allow you to list more items. They will increase your traffic, and they will increase your ability to get recognized as best match when people search for the items that you have listed on eBay. Now, when it comes to, there's a saying like, you can't run faster than you have strength. You don't want to tip over your skis. Many people say that once, like, let's say you made $100,000 in revenue in 1 year. There are many people that believe that you cannot break through a certain threshold to make 150,000 in revenue. Maybe it's 175,000 in revenue. Maybe it's double at 200,000. I don't believe in that. I truly believe that if you are listing items with great demand, i.e. sell-through rate, if you are listing items that people are looking for, and you continue to ship them out when you say you will ship them out, i.e., if your business policy says that you have 2-day handling time and you sell your items and you continue to prove over and over and over and over and over again that you ship them out within 2 days, and you are getting good feedback scores and your items, you're not getting a ton of INADs, you are not shipping out items as, you're not describing something as perfect condition and then shipping it out in poor condition, I think eBay is just going to continue to reward you. I do not believe that there is this governing system at 50% year over year growth or 70 or 100. I think that if I got 60,000 second generation AirPod Pros and I listed all 60,000 of them and they were all genuine, I would sell all 60,000 of them in under 2 months. With my established account, I've been proving to eBay for the last 3 years that I'm a reputable seller and I do everything that I say I'm going to do. If I got 60,000 AirPods today, I would sell 60,000 AirPods in under 60 days. I just know that to be true. Now, if I got 60,000 5% sell-through rate CDs and I listed all 60,000, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to take me years and years and years and years and years to sell all these. Not because eBay is governing how much I can sell, but I am governing how much I can sell because of my sell-through rate of the items that I am choosing to put onto eBay. The second way that you can govern yourself is to not ship out items on time and ship them out in undescribed condition, and you will be throttled. eBay definitely has the ability to throttle your traffic and to make it so you get little to no sales until you prove yourself worthy of receiving more sales. But I don't think that if you make 100,000 this year and you're on track to make 175,000, if you are in the middle of October and you're at 85% sales growth year over year, I do not think that they will intentionally give you significantly less traffic and sales the next day. I believe that if you continue to list good items with good descriptions and titles and photos, with good business policies, and you keep up your end of the bargain, eBay will continue to give you more traffic. Now, I think this comes from a few different examples. I mean, the first one is people just complaining on Facebook and Reddit. This is a huge thing. There's a lot of people that have conspiracy theories about eBay and the algorithm and the government and everything in their life, right? And some people have conspiracy theories about almost everything. Some people only believe the conspiracy theories of eBay, whatever it is. But principally, a lot of people talk about this on Facebook and Reddit, that it's like, hey, I think that eBay just doesn't allow sellers to make more than $100,000 a year, which is completely false. I've seen that one so many times, and I do more than that number every single year, even in my worst year. You can definitely do more than 100,000 in revenue on eBay. It is very doable if you have the right items and you run your business correctly. Second, the Reseller Nirvana group with Tech and Sports and Data Refinement that has been disbanded, but at one point it was those two running it. Tech always talked about how he would list 120 a day and would sell around 120 a day. And then he started listing 250 a day, and he didn't immediately start selling 250 a day until I believe he said like 9 or 10, 11 or 12 months later. And they kind of alluded to the fact that eBay didn't give him the necessary traffic to sell 250 until he showed eBay that he was going to continue to list 250. Now, I don't have anything against that group or Tech and Sports, but I don't believe in the you have to list the same amount of items every single day, or the eBay algorithm severely punishes you. Or I don't believe that you have to continue to list every single day in order for eBay to unleash traffic to you. I believe that eBay gives you the traffic warranted for your items. So if you have 1,000 over 100% sell-through rate items, you will receive significantly more traffic than if you had 10,000 3% sell-through rate items, because people are not looking for those items. Now, if you have a 50% sell-through rate and you are listing 50 per day, and then you start listing 100 per day, it's going to take a while to get to the point where you are getting 100 items per day worth of views because you don't have enough items in your store yet. If you're getting 50 views per day with 10 items at a 50% sell-through rate, and then if you have 100 items in your store at a 50% sell-through rate, then you will receive 100 items at a 50% sell-through rate worth of views. Then if you start listing 5 more per day, it's going to take 20 days of no additional sales to get to 200 to double those views, right? But along the way, you're going to be selling things. So if you list 5 more per day and you eventually start to sell 1 more per day because you have more items, and then you start to sell 2 more per day because you now have more items, it's going to take you more than 20 days to double your store. It's going to take you probably around 35 to 50 because you are selling more as you are listing more. But I do not believe that eBay says, hey, you're making too much money, we're going to throw all your traffic. Another place where this comes from, this was discussed very intensely on Josh Galt's live. I think he calls it the Advanced eBay Reselling live chat. He and several other people in the chat would say that there's this elusive number somewhere between 50 and 70%. I think they nailed it down to like 60 or 65, because every time they seemed to get to plus 60% year over year, they would have a bad day the next day or something like that. And I believe that just comes down to, like everyone has their own experiences and their anecdotes and their data, their own personal data. But I would always say if you got 3,000 AirPods today and listed them, they would all be gone in 14 days, regardless of your sales the previous year or the previous month. I have done that in my store. I have had generally a 80% sell-through rate store. And every time that I get a shipment of AirPods, which sell usually within the week that I list them, every time I get those AirPods and I list them at a reasonable price, they're all gone within 14 days. Every once in a while, there's some stragglers. Like I just barely got a couple hundred of them like 3 months ago, and there's still about 15 in my store. So there's always like a few stragglers, but 95% of them all sold within the first 14 days. And if I got 20,000 of them instead of 200, if there is 20,000 worth of demand, you hear what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do this next year, so it's almost New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody. I am going to, the first week of January, I'm going to do like a glass bowl YouTube video where I show you guys how much revenue I did on eBay this year of 2024. It will be 2025 when I make this video, but I'll be showing you guys how much I made in revenue in 2024. And then I'm going to double it in 2025. If I have, okay, so I have made connections with and have learned how to source very good items, and I have them coming to my front door almost daily at a very cheap cost of goods that I'm able to sell for a very high sales price. I'm constantly getting a ton of watches and cameras and eyeglasses and sunglasses and all of these things, usually for a cost of goods per item of under $2, and my average sales price is around $40. And I've unlocked these skills and methods and contacts to be able to get me hundreds of those items every single day if I had the cash flow for it, which I'm planning on doing. So I'm going to take an established 3-year account that has made over $100,000 in revenue every single year, and I'm going to double it 100%. It might, I might fall short but I have the goal of just completely doubling my operation. So right now, I think I'm at about like 100. I think by the end of the year, I will have done on eBay alone like 160,000 in revenue. Oh, today was a better day than I thought it was. We're at 528 with a few hours left. So this was a down year for me because it's the first year that I truly started cross-listing and live selling and moving items. So today I'm at 150,000 in revenue. I got 5 days left, so I'll probably get around like 155,000 in revenue. So next year I will be doing over 300,000 in revenue on eBay. I'm just gonna do it. You know, it doesn't like I don't think, and maybe this will prove some of the like I'm not opposed to being wrong here. Like there's a good possibility that eBay does have this magical number where it's like, hey, we are going to throttle your traffic because you are growing too fast. That may be the case, but I just don't think so. My example with the AirPods or digital cameras, or sometimes I'll just get a lot of 50 Gucci sunglasses, and all 50 of those will sell within 14 days of me listing them. It doesn't matter how many sales I got the day before, the week before, the month before, or the year before. When I list the good items, they just sell. When I list a good item with a good title and good photos and good business policies at a good price, it sells every time. It just sells. Regardless of all of these rumors about the eBay algorithm punishing you for a myriad of things, when I list good things, those good things sell. So I'm hoping next year. Also, like I'm probably there's going to be some big family moves next year, which I'm excited about. So there's going to be a lot of different changes in my life. So I may not be able to actually double my revenue on, and this is just on eBay. I'm still going to continue to cross list on Mercari and Poshmark, where I make a lot of money as well, tens of thousands. But yeah, I'm going to double my sales on eBay next year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Yeah, and I'm going to double my sales on eBay while also most likely doubling my sales on Poshmark and Mercari. And I'm really enjoying my time on Shop Commons on District. I'm probably going to quintuple that. I've only been selling on Shop Commons for the last 2 months, and I think we've done about 11,000 in revenue there. I'm planning on doing close to, I don't know, maybe $3,000 a month on Shop Commons. I do about $1,000 a show, and I do about 4 shows a month. So we'll just go in low at 3,000 times 12 is 36,000. Well, yeah, so I'll do about 40,000 on Shop Commons. So I'll be doing 40,000 on multiple other platforms, and I'm still planning on doubling my revenue on eBay to 300,000. And we are going to see, I'll be documenting the journey, and we're going to see if an established account can just double its sales. 100% growth year over year. We're going to see if it can be done. I think it can. But it also has to do a lot with me. If I slack off, or if my sourcing avenues dry up, or the items that I have listed decrease in demand, there's so many other factors that come into this, but I think that I can double my sales, and you guys will see along with me. So if you guys have any questions about anything, the Utah Jazz play in 40 minutes. So I'll answer questions for about 40 minutes. And then I'm going to watch the Jazz hopefully lose to the Trailblazers, because I love the Jazz and I understand that you have to go through pain to get victory. So hopefully we keep losing so we get an awesome draft pick. And yeah. And then after the Jazz game, I will be playing Skyline Cities Skyline 2. It's a city builder. I don't play a lot of video games, but I'm really hooked on that right now. I love building cities. It's fun. What's up, Soda City Flips? So for those of you here, I just started a new Facebook page. Scroll up to the top of the comments and please click on this link and follow and like JRide Picks on Facebook. Really appreciate it if you guys could do that. I'm really excited to start growing that page. I think we're over 1,000. Let's see. Let's go JRide Picks. Yep, we're at 1,011 followers. So thank you guys so much for playing a part and helping in that. And yeah, let's get into some questions here. Listening and lurking. New seller here. I've made 2,100 gross in 2 months. I paid off my guitar debt. That's awesome, Elijah. Yeah, I love it. I love to hear like people say, like I paid off a specific thing. Like I paid for a vacation, or I paid off my car debt, or in this case, you paid off your guitar debt. That's awesome. Congratulations. Finally caught a live stream. Will listen while I list. Awesome. How many of you guys list in the evening or the morning? So I do this full time. So my wife lists in the morning. And then I do a little bit of listings usually around like 2 o'clock. But I know a lot of you guys work a full-time job and then come home and work on your eBay business side hustle. So let me know how many of you guys how many of you guys list in the evening? How many of you guys work in the morning? Put it in the comments. Always dropping gems. I'm trying. Hey Jake, thanks again for the So Clean at the Centerville DI. I already sold it for $40 plus shipping. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Zach is a subscriber of mine. He actually bought a lot off of me from Shop Commons, and we met up to deliver it in person. And then we competed in the thrift store and went for some good stuff to sell. So Clean is a CPAP cleaning unit, and the filter, I was going to say filtration system, but I said filter. The filter requires a prescription. So the unit itself without the filter can be sold, and it sells for about $40. So awesome. But I listed one with the filter, and I got the Vero, and then I've never been able to list a So Clean since. So I told Zach, I'm like, hey, I'm not sure if you've ever sold one of these before, but they sell for about $40 plus shipping. Just make sure you take the filter out. And this was literally like 3 days ago. So it looks like it sold in under a week, which is the beauty of 100% sell-through rate items. Hey, Texas Lady. Texas Lady, I've never met you, but I love you. You have been here forever, and I appreciate you always supporting me through my ups and my downs and my learning curve. I have to know, what does a seller with a description of a period in all their listings have in their feedback for accurate description? Yeah, so I put a period in the majority of my listings, except for eyeglasses. My eyeglasses and sunglasses, I put frames only, lenses must be replaced in all caps. Everything that is in perfect working order, I put a period. So like if I listed this, my personal wallet, it's a Bosca 1911 leather wallet. I would list it and I would put a dang good title and dang good photos. And then there's nothing additionally wrong with it. So I put a period for the description. Now, if this had a tear or if it had a bleach spot, then I would put in the description has tear or bleach spot. So I use the description to describe the condition of the items when it is warranted. If I have an item that has, just whatever it is. So your photos and your title really are your description. I've read statistics, and these are all anecdotal statistics. There's no actual numbers behind them. But 9 out of 10 people don't read the description when they buy something on eBay. Unless they're buying like a MacBook and they want to see like the specs. Like I got this new MacBook off of eBay. And obviously that needed the description because I needed to know the specs. I needed to know, the RAM, the dedicated RAM. I needed to know the Retina display. I needed to know all of those things. But when you are selling a Metallica CD, you don't really need a description. I just put a period. Is that why I paid before I even send the items sometimes? I have a 1-day handle time, and on weekends I get paid before Monday. Like this morning, I got paid for yesterday's sales before I sent it. Yeah, so if you have sold enough items, then you get paid even before it gets delivered. So if you have proven that you're a trustworthy seller, the item doesn't have to be delivered before the funds are released to you. So I can't remember if it's 24 hours or 48 hours. I think it's 48. But if I sell something in 48 hours and I don't even ship it for 72 hours, I get paid before I even ship it. Does that make sense? So it sounds like, Travis, you've been doing this for a while and eBay trusts you and they pay you in a 24 or 48 hour period after you sell the item because you are a reputable seller. So congrats. Yes, eBay stops you growing, especially based on risk. Well, it's only on risk, I would say. So if you are a crappy seller, then yeah, they definitely throttle your growth and make it so you can't grow. Because if you think about that logically, why? So like, I would, so I was a sales manager and I took other guys and gals my age to different states and I would train them how to sell. And then we would knock doors and sell pest control. And if someone is really good at sales, I'm going to give them the best opportunity to get even more sales. So if you are, and you can notice that like this is really in the weeds. You guys probably don't know anything about door-to-door pest control sales, but some salesmen are really good at just getting someone who already has a company to switch over. And so those salesmen that I identify, I send them to neighborhoods that are rich, that already have companies, and he can just sit on the doorstep and say, yeah, I understand. Like, that's actually why we're here. A couple of your neighbors, you know, they had a good experience with them, but they just like that we do things a little bit differently. They also like that they can actually save. It's a switch economy now. You actually save money when you switch instead of being loyal. It's kind of stupid, but it's just the way the economy is set up currently in society. And they just talk and talk and talk, and then boom. Sweet. Yep. So your last day with Turbinex, I'll actually call for you, or you can call. Sweet. All right. Now we're getting you set up with this company. Awesome. If they suck at that, I'm going to put them in poorer neighborhoods where people don't have a pest control company and they're sick of doing it on their own, or they have had no success on their own, and they can finally do it with this salesman because they're, you know. So if you suck at sales, then yes, eBay is definitely going to throttle your traffic 1000%. Wouldn't they be hurting themselves by limiting growth? No, not on an individual basis. So Karen, Karen, I'm sure that you're a great eBay salesperson, right? But let's say that you aren't and Sid is. If they throttle your traffic because you don't accurately describe your items with your title and photo and description, but Sid does, they are going to limit your traffic because you suck. Again, I'm sure you don't, but this is just the example. They will make significantly more money limiting your growth and allowing that growth to go to Sid in this example, right? So on a broad spectrum basis, limiting growth definitely doesn't make them more money. But if they can find the bad eggs, which their systems are very sufficient at finding bad eggs, limiting the growth of the bad eggs is good for them, and giving that growth to someone who is growing is great for them. But back to what I was talking about earlier, yes, if you are that good salesman and you are continuously increasing the amount of good items you're putting in your store, eBay would be stupid to limit your growth. For some reason, a lot of people believe that eBay is that stupid. A lot of people believe that if they do everything right and they grow, eBay will say, we don't want to give you traffic. We're gonna stop your growth. It just doesn't make sense. Have you had to pay any taxes since you started reselling? I know tax rules cater to the entrepreneur. Yeah, so I'll explain that. So yeah, you definitely pay taxes on profit. The IRS typically, this isn't a hard rule, obviously, but the IRS assumes that the average business will not be profitable for 4 years. So when you start a business, typically the IRS is shocked if you're profitable in year one. I was profitable in year one, so I've been paying taxes on my eBay business every year because it's profitable every year. But if I was a traditional business where I took out massive loans and I was spending millions of dollars on marketing just to acquire customers at a loss, this is a big strategy for a lot of people, for a lot of businesses. They spend $100 million to only make 50 million, but they're hoping that that customer sticks around and will spend an additional 100 million without the marketing, whatever. You pay taxes on your profit, and I have profited every year, so I have been paying taxes. However, like I talked about in my last video, I have an S corporation and I have other things set up. So I don't pay a ton in taxes legally because of these tax advantage accounts such as HSA accounts. If you guys aren't maximizing a Roth IRA account or a traditional IRA account, do it. If you guys are not maxing out an HSA account, which is a health savings account, do it. And if you guys are not contributing to your 401ks, do it. Like, do these things, okay? So if you make this is not tax advice, I'm just a guy on the internet, okay? If you make $100,000 in profit, you've already deducted all your mileage and your cost of goods and your fees and everything, your office, you've deducted everything, and you have $100,000 left, and then you dump $42,000 into your Roth IRA in your S corporation, you don't pay taxes on that $42,000 when you put it in. You write all of that off, and now you're only paying taxes on your $58,000. And then if you contribute $8,250 to your HSA account, now that money is your money and you're not paying taxes on it. Now you're only paying taxes on $50,000. Now if you go get some real estate and you pay that year $17,000 in interest on your real estate, but you have a renter that's paying you significantly more than 17, tax write-offs are amazing. You definitely want to make sure that you have a professional CPA guiding you and making sure that you are paying as little tax as legally possible, because that is the way that the tax code is written and should be exercised. But yeah, entrepreneurs love the tax code. Like, everyone says, like, it's so risky being an entrepreneur. You don't have benefits. My wife and I have incredible benefits as entrepreneurs. And I'm talking about health and dental, but way past that, we have incredible tax saving benefits as entrepreneurs. So when you make profit, pay taxes on it for sure. How's it going, Chad? Everyone should check out Wolfman's Goodies YouTube channel if you haven't already. Where do you store your items? I'm thinking of building a 12 by 16 shed, but wasn't sure if it was too small. I have 500 plus items. The majority of my items are small. I sell a lot of digital cameras and eyeglass frames. These are some broken ones that I got to work with. Dolce & Gabbana. So I have 3,000 items in my garage, which I believe is like 18 by 20. And if I continue to get these small items, I can easily fit 15,000 in that garage, which is awesome. But traditional reselling, like you see from Harry Tornado or Kevin the Commonwealth Picker or ADH Dave, all these guys, they're picking up a myriad of items, some of them big, some of them small, medium, all that stuff. You can probably 12 by 16, depending on how tall it is, you can probably fit about minimum 2,000 items in there if you store it properly and have racks and all that stuff. I'm assuming it's at least 10 feet tall, maybe 8. But yeah, a shed 12 by 16, especially if it has a loft, you're going to be good to go with a 2,000 plus item store. So 500, unless you're selling only subwoofers and computer monitors, you should be good. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks everyone for saying Merry Christmas. No doubt Jake will double it. I'm excited. Hey, Jake, what is your best flip of 2024? Mine was a Vermont casting remote I paid $1 for and sold for $400. The comps are up to $500 plus a couple months later, but I'm happy with my quick flip. I sold one of those remotes too, a Vermont casting remote. I bought it for $1 at a yard sale and sold it for $349. But my best flip, let's see here. This year, generate report. It looks like my best flip was a vintage Onkyo preamplifier that I sold for $800, and I got that at a thrift store for $10. One of my top 10 flips, I bought a ton of Toomey Copper Pain Relief Cream, expired, from Daily Refinement. Chris was doing a live show on Whatnot, and he was selling, and I still have a ton more. I'll show you guys here. Oh no, I transferred them down to my basement. So he sold me one box that had 12 units, and I got, I think, 11 boxes. So about 135 units. And I paid, I think in total, I think I paid $28 because no one was bidding on them. No one knew the value of them for some reason. So I got them for super, super cheap. And just the other day, I sold 18 of them for over $400 in one sale. So that was awesome. So I've made almost $1,000 off that because I've sold a ton more too. So 18 for $400, and I had 135 of them, and I think I only have like 20 left. So that was one of my best. Like I'll make over probably $1,500 on $25 to $35. I can't remember how much it was, but that remote, that's a good one. Yeah, I remember finding that as well. It was dope. Jared, any reselling New Year's resolutions for 2025? Yeah, I talked about it a few minutes after you said this. I'm gonna double my eBay revenue, and I'm not gonna quintuple my cost of goods, because it would be really easy to just buy a ton of iPhones for 80 and flip them all for 85. But like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna continue to buy things between $2 and $10 and sell them between 30 and a couple $100. But yeah, I'm gonna double my revenue. All the thanks to your advice to search every model number. Yeah, man. And the Vermont castings, it doesn't look like anything special. It just looks like a normal remote, and it's worth hundreds of dollars because the unit it goes to is worth tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Vermont castings, they make very luxurious fireplaces and just different things for homes, for luxury homes. And sometimes their units are hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so their used remote controls go for $500-$600 sometimes. It's awesome. So do you think, though, you are only one guy, so based on only so many hours in a day will prevent you from hitting your goals? No, I'm not only one guy. My wife works probably 30 hours a week. And then I have my mom who works for me about 20 hours a week. My mother-in-law who works for me about 20 hours a week. I have a few YouTube subscribers that do some background work for me. Jonathan actually just entered the chat. How you doing, John? Yeah, John, every time I have like claims and stuff, he takes care of them for me. And then I have a few other employees that help, to help with live shows and cleaning and a ton of stuff. So my operation usually is me plus my wife plus 3 or 4 employees at any given time. So yeah, no, the sky's the limit. And you shouldn't limit yourself to just being yourself. Like if you make $100,000 and hiring an employee only costs you $40,000, hire an employee, because that $40,000 employee is going to make you at least another $100,000. So now instead of making $100,000, you hire an employee and you make $160,000. So yeah, definitely don't do things like solopreneurship can be awesome if you are selling like courses and software, but when it comes to like a physical product company like this, yeah, get employees, get those employees ASAP. But don't like rush into it either. That's a whole nother topic. And if you guys have questions about hiring employees and things like that, my dog does help me too as well, Chris. That is very true. Chris Nutter, it's good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for being here. Sorry guys, I kind of scrolled past. Let's see. I have about 200 items in half that space, so you should be about all right. Oh, sorry, you were talking to someone else. If you have a store, don't forget to order your supplies. I did get 25 off of an order last quarter of the last year. Oh yeah, we got to get our. If you have an eBay store, you get $50 off of tape and boxes and polymailers from the eBay shop. So make sure you guys use those. Double net, gross, or both? Both. So we'll double net, and then if we were to purely double net, our gross would probably go up like 35 to 40%, just because when you double your operation, you also incur more cost. So there will be more cost of goods. There will also be more employable wages. There will also be more electricity, just things like that. So your gross goes down when your revenue goes up. Your percentage of gross goes down when your revenue goes up sometimes, especially with product in hand services companies. Sometimes service companies, and definitely like software companies, you can increase your revenue without increasing your gross, without decreasing your gross, but it's not super easy. How do you package up sunglasses? I roll them in about 5 feet of bubble wrap and I put them in a poly mailer. A lot of people disagree with how I do it, but I have sold thousands and thousands and thousands. Like, I think I've sold 5,000 sunglasses at this point, and I've had 4 returned for being broken. So that is less than 0.1%, which is, if you are actually worried about 0.1%, then you need to, like, I don't want to dog on anyone, but like a lot of people struggle with these mental and emotional hurdles in business. If you are concerned about a 0.1% return rate, you really need to reevaluate your mindset and skill set in business. Because if you're letting a 0.1% return rate hold you back from selling 5,000 sunglasses, or saving, let's see, if I were to ship them in boxes, it would probably increase my cost by 85 cents, more or less. That's just a rough estimate. So 85 cents times 5,000 units, that saves me $4,250. So I make an extra $4,250 minus the returning process of 4 pairs of sunglasses. We'll call that $50. So I make an additional $4,200 sending them in poly mailers than boxes. Doubling sales revenue sounds like a good challenge. Count me in for the journey. Let's do it. Can only list after the kids go to bed. Yeah, I'm excited for that chapter in life. It's coming pretty soon. Not sure when, but I'm excited to be a full-time entrepreneur, full-time dad. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it. I take photos in the day and list at night, list in the evening. I list and do shipping while my guys are at day programs during the week. That has been a solid growth, but sometimes I do more as well in the evenings. Awesome. Sweet. I asked a few minutes ago if you guys listen in the evenings or the mornings. Hey, Jake, you had put out a video of 50 items that sell for $50, and one of the items was Rainmate humidifier. I kid you not, a couple days later, I find one in the wild at a garage sale in the back corner. Would have passed on it if I had not seen your video. That's awesome. And I think you have a channel, right? Because I remember you posting this on that video that I posted. I think this was like 4 months ago. So yeah, Angry Muffin in the house. Thanks for being here. What are you focusing on to catapult yourself into 2025? So here's the kicker, guys. I think I'm going to double my revenue on eBay while also scaling back the amount of hours I work. It's awesome. So I am catapulting myself. I'm going to be focusing a lot more on my health and fitness and my spirituality this year. And I'm really excited to do that. And I think I will be able to make significantly more working less. So I will be updating you guys on that in the journey as well. That's going to be awesome. I can give you a shout out on a video about it. Yeah, I remember it. Thanks, man. If you are a good seller, you make eBay more money. eBay wants you to make them more money. Exactly. But eBay actually is much more macro than that. So, like, logically, right there with you, Jason. But on a macro, like, eBay would actually much rather just start advertising on their account. So like, if they can, if they make, 87 cents or even $4.89 every time you sell something, then they're definitely going to support you in that. But then if they can just sell their data that costs them nothing and they can sell it for hundreds of millions of dollars, then yeah, they're going to do that too. Also, if they don't care like where the sales go, as long as it's going to a reputable seller, if I get 8 more sales and you only get 2, they just see 10 more sales. It doesn't matter that mine was 8 and yours was 2 and this guy's was 9 and this guy's was 47. They just see overall sales. Let's keep pumping those sales. And that's what the algorithm's job is to do. And that's what the best match feature is. The best match feature is to match the buyer with the perfect item from the seller that is going to supply that transaction for them. So yeah, they're all their focus. The algorithm isn't focused on getting Jason's items in front of buyers. The algorithm's focus is getting buyers in front of items. So if a buyer wants an item, they're not going to say, hey, Jake and Jason have the same item at relatively the same price, but we've given Jake more traffic than he deserves, so we're going to give Jason a little bit more because we haven't given Jason enough today. That's not, in my opinion, how the algorithm works. The algorithm is, hey, if Jason has 14 sales today and Jake only has 2, we're not going to just give Jake a chance to get the third. We don't really actually care about Jake. We just care about the buyer and we care about the transaction. So if Jason is, according to our algorithm, going to be the better match, it doesn't matter that Jason has received more traffic and has more sales than Jake. If his item matches better to the buyer, then we're going to put that item in front of the buyer. I think a lot of people think, so like this goes back to like the tech and sports theory of like you have to earn, like you as a seller has to earn that traffic from eBay. I'm listing 120 forever. Now I'm going to start listing 250 and I haven't earned that traffic from eBay yet. So I'm just going to keep listing 250 until I earn that traffic. I just don't subscribe to that because like the eBay, like the algorithm is just like, hey, if Jake searches for a Utah Jazz lanyard, according to where he likes to click, how often he actually looks at descriptions, how much he's focused on the photos, how much he's focused on a name brand as compared to an unbranded, as compared to this, to that, to that, to that, to that. The eBay algorithm understands more about my buying habits than I do, and they're just going to put that perfect item in front of me that they think is the perfect item. And sometimes they get it wrong. A lot of times they get it wrong. But that's, Steph Curry misses free throws all the time, but he takes a lot of free throws and he makes a lot of free throws. And that's what the eBay algorithm is doing, is learning every single second of the day what Jake likes to buy on the platform and what Susie likes to buy and what Jason likes to buy. So yeah, big rant there, but but yeah, no, I agree with you. If you make more money, eBay makes more money, and they're going to give the sellers that make them the most money the most sales. But more than that, they have a pool of really good sellers, and then after that, it's just the best item with the best transaction for the customer possible. This year, we are going to end the year around 60K in sales, hoping to double that for next year. Well, Angry Muffin, there's a lot of people on this platform, and especially on Facebook and Reddit that don't think you can do it, but I think you can. There's a word for those people. Do you guys know Shopee? I don't. I have no idea what Shopee is. How's it going, Mike? Good to see you here. It's a big Chinese marketplace in Brazil. That's dope. Very true. Many govs have that mindset with startup businesses. Yeah. No, because so the average business is, especially in like tech and startup business, is let's make as much money as we can. Let's show how valuable our company is right now and how valuable it can be, and then let's sell to a bigger company. So, for example, I think Whatnot is eventually going to do this. I think Whatnot is trying to get the highest evaluation possible. Like, let's say right now they're evaluated at $100 million. And maybe they have the goal to get valued at $500 million. And then once they reach that, they want to sell to eBay for $750 million. They are willing to do whatever it takes. Like, they will lose money if needed. That's why, like, the reason why I speculate this is because their payouts for influencers is huge. Like, it's huge, guys. If I get one of you guys to sign up with Whatnot through my link, and if you guys buy something for $3, they pay me $25. So they just lost $22 on that transaction, but they don't care because they want that evaluation as high as possible. They're willing to lose money to get there if necessary. And then eBay will come along and say, hey, here's $1 billion. And now they spent $200 million to get there. Now their shareholders split up $800 million. And they say, thank you very much. And a lot of times, in this case, this is just a complete example. Maybe I should have used Microsoft or something. But in a lot of cases, this bigger company, eBay, will buy this smaller company, Whatnot, and then Whatnot will still continue to operate underneath the name of Whatnot, but they're owned by eBay. So all the money that Whatnot generates, it still goes to eBay's portfolio, but they're still called Whatnot. I think, and I could be totally wrong, and I don't care if I'm right or wrong. This is just speculation. It's fun. I think that this is Whatnot's goal. They want to make as much money as possible. They want to capture as much market share as possible. They want to get as many customers as possible so they can show that data sheet to a bigger company. Maybe it's eBay, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's even Poshmark. That's, I don't know, they may, again, I'm speculating. Maybe even Microsoft. Maybe Microsoft wants to get into the live selling game. Who knows? You never know. But I think their goal, which is the goal of most startup companies, is to get as big as they can and sell for as much as they can. So there's that. And that's why typically the government doesn't expect you to even break a profit in the first 4 years, because you are sacrificing money and time right now. So that way you can be bigger in the future and possibly sell. So I did this in my pest control company. I built it up as fast as I could. I actually didn't go into debt for it, but I just built it up as much as I could. And then I would sell off my company to Terminix. Terminix is $1 billion company. My company was less than $1 million. And then I would just say, okay, here is 5,000 accounts. They all make a revenue of about $600 per year. That's $300,000. Will you give me $400,000 for this? No. And the reason why is because the majority of those accounts will stay on for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So it will make them 300,000 plus dividends every single year for many years. That's why they would pay more than what the company is worth now, right? Get into some kind of deep business and sales stuff here, but I would say, hey, will you buy my business for 400,000? Like, oh no, we can do 250, whatever. You negotiate and then you sell it, and you make all of that money along the way, and you can sell it for a huge price. But then you pay big taxes on that sale because it is profit, and the government says, give me some. I honestly don't think a lot of the throttle babies believe it deep down. It's just comforting to push off failure or lack of success onto a third party and off of themselves. Unfortunately, that is human nature, psychology. It's tough. It's tough because it's hard. I agree with you. It's tough. I wish it wasn't that way, but like there's so much joy in just accepting reality and taking accountability for everything that happens to you. There really is. But people would actually rather be miserable with an excuse than happy with a risk. Wow. I just watched Trash to Cash podcast, and Carrie, to motivate everyone, he would he was Googling random quotes, motivational quotes, and he would read them. Boom. He should have read mine right there. I can't even remember what it was now. What did I say? We would rather be miserable with an excuse than joyful with a risk. Jake Rader. My sales are lacking because my items are lacking. Would Deal Soldier be a better way to source for faster moving items? I know you've been talking about it before. Yeah, if you do it correctly. So it's just like a ton of us resellers here on eBay, we can all go to the same flea market, and I might clean house and get a ton of the really fast sell-through rate items, and then other people might just really be stuck on the Frank Sinatra greatest hits CDs because they like it and they want to list it and sell it, even though it doesn't sell. Same thing with retail arbitrage. If you're good at it, then yeah, you'll make a lot of money with retail arbitrage, and Deal Soldier will put those opportunities in front of you. But there are also additional cons for retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage, huge pros. You can get a ton of product really fast, and you can sell them a lot faster because they are new. Huge con is if everyone, like if they're So you have to like internalize this with a winning mindset, but not an overly optimistic mindset, right? So it's all about supply and demand, whether the items are new or used. If so, like for example, these SD500 PowerShot Canon cameras, if there are 1,000 people looking for these a month that are ready to purchase, then 1,000 will buy them, plus eBay will do some marketing and put these in front of people that may not want them, but they may just earn the sale through marketing. So let's say there's a demand that 1,500 of these will sell every month, but there's only 800 listed. Those are going to sell extremely fast. Now, if all of a sudden someone found a storage locker with 30,000 of these, and he sold off a few of them to me and a few of them to Osborne to Thrift and a few of them to other resellers, and we all listed 1,000 a day for 5 days, then the price of these cameras would go down. Because even though there's 1,500 people buying them every single month, there's now 30,000 listed. So only the ones priced appropriately are going to sell. This happens a lot with retail arbitrage. It happens more with retail arbitrage because these items are currently being produced, right? So for example, those Toomey coppers that I was talking about earlier, I was the only one. There was one other person with a listing for them. So it was me and another guy. That was it. Or gal. That was it. No one else had these listed on eBay. But Chris sold them to other resellers in that live, and there was more demand for it. Now, what negative people and even positive people that are just a bit too far in the conspiracy side of things will tell you, don't buy anything that's new because it's just a race to the bottom. That's just false. It's not always true, and it's not always false, right? So, like right now, Donovan is saying the law of economics: when supply is low, price is high. When supply is high, price is low. But sometimes when supply is high, price is still high because demand is still high. So you have to just know what products are going to hold their value, right? So we'll talk energy drinks here for a second. If there is a NASCAR, so like a lot of times Red Bull will sponsor a NASCAR driver, and they will only release Red Bulls with his face on it in North Carolina. And you can only get it in North Carolina. If everyone buys them in North Carolina and lists them immediately, you can still get huge, awesome prices for them, and it won't be a race to zero because I can't get them in Utah. And I can't get them in California, and I can't get them in New Zealand or Australia. I can't get them anywhere except for North Carolina. I'm not going to freaking drive to North Carolina because I don't care about a freaking 289 Red Bull with my favorite driver on it, right? But if Logan Paul drops a prime drink with Kevin Durant on it and he puts it in every single Walmart across the nation, and the first day that it drops, it sells out and people are selling it for $35 a bottle, in 7 days, when it restocks in Walmart, everyone else will be buying it and selling it for $35 a bottle. But now there will be hundreds listed, and then it will go down to 26 and then 18. And then eventually it'll probably get to about $9 shipped, which there's still some profit to be made on that, but it's going to sell slow and you're only going to be making a few pennies, right? So you have to understand. So here's the perfect example, right? This is a privilege of living in Utah. You ready? A lot of people out there say I'm only good at this job because I live in Utah. Here's a perfect example of that, okay? The biggest demographic, not the biggest, but one of the biggest demographics and groups of people in Utah are Mormons, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, stay with me here because this is very relevant to reselling, right? I am one of those religious members. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. One of our teachings or doctrines is that we do not drink coffee or alcohol, but it doesn't say anything about soda. So while all of you guys every weekend or each night are getting margaritas and tequilas and, Jägermeister, all these different things, whatever it is, whiskey, whatever it is you drink, A lot of people in Utah still buy those things, but a ton of people in Utah do not buy those beverages whatsoever. But we buy a ton and a ton of soda. You guys know those Stanleys? Most of you guys in the country are filling those Stanleys up with water. A ton of Utah Mormon moms are filling those up with Diet Coke and Sprite. It's hilarious. We love soda in Utah. So Dr. Pepper released this new flavor called Dr. Pepper Coconut, right? And also Zero Sugar Coconut. They launched this across the United States, and they saw that it wasn't performing well almost anywhere. Kentucky, it was performing a little bit above average, but in Utah, it was exploding. Everyone was talking about Dr. Pepper Coconut. This is an actual real example. Like, I'm not making up this story or talking about something that happened forever ago. This happened in my reselling career, right? So what Dr. Pepper did, I think they're owned by Keurig, right? So they still operate underneath the name Dr. Pepper, but they were bought out by Keurig. So all the money that Dr. Pepper makes goes to Keurig, right? We talked about that earlier. So Keurig pulled all of the Dr. Pepper coconuts from all of these states, Albertsons and Kroger's and Walmart's, where it wasn't selling, and they just shipped them all to Utah. So now in Utah, we are getting all of these, we have these pallets of Dr. Pepper coconut. So I have the opportunity to buy them for $3.33 a box of 12 cans, and I've been selling them on Amazon for $40. Because a lot of people in these other states that it wasn't popular in, some people really liked it and they still really want it, but they can't get it in their stores. So they have to go to Amazon or eBay and buy it from someone in Utah because that's the only place where it's found now. You guys can't get this Dr. Pepper coconut in really anywhere except for Utah because of this super, super, super niche culture that we have here where we just love soda significantly more than everybody else. So this is an example of you can buy every single case, and I still wouldn't buy every single case, but you can buy a ton of cases and you're not going to race to the bottom because you're only competing with people in Utah, and we are selling to everyone outside of Utah. So I hope that made sense. So if you find Hello Kitty Christmas blankets, buy all of them. Deal Soldier has led me to a ton of those opportunities because they're only going to make, I don't know the number, let's say 5 million, and they're going to distribute all of those amongst these major cities and towns in the United States. Buy all of them, and then if you don't sell them all this year, they only make it once per year, and they have the 2017 Hello Kitty blanket for Christmas. They have the 2028, the 2029, and people are going to want to collect all of the sets, and if they don't have the 2017 in 2025, they'll go onto eBay and they'll buy the 2017. So would Deal Soldier be a better way to source faster moving items? Yes and no. It requires a ton of thought and skill, just like selling used items do. But with retail arbitrage, I'd say there's more reward and there's also more risk. And so you have to be smart about it. But yeah, and a lot of times on Deal Soldier, like there will be a vacuum for $189 and it goes on clearance only in one city or one state or one zone of the country. So it will still be $189 in Illinois, but it will only be $17 in Arizona. That's why having Deal Soldier is awesome, because different things go for different prices in different areas. So like those, I actually just posted a video yesterday about on TikTok and Instagram about Deal Soldier because I found Helldivers 2 for PS5. They were only selling for $5 at my local Walmart, but everywhere across the country they were still selling for $60. So I bought 10 of them for $5 and I sold all 10 of them in under 6 days of listing them. This was like 8 months ago. So yeah, but if you just go to Walgreens and you buy the discounted NYC makeup remover that was discounted in 47 of 50 states, then yeah, you're going to get washed on that. So you just have to understand all of these things, and it just takes time learning. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to hit home runs. Just like reselling used items, same thing as retail arbitrage, but there is more violent swings. Hey man, looking to expand into clothing, but having issues looking up exact items for sell-through rate. Yeah, so this is how I look up clothing. Let me grab something, for example. So, like, let's take this shirt, for example. Find a good one here. Okay. Peter Millar, Summer Comfort, right? So what I do is I do a few different tests to look this up, right? So first thing I do is I type in Peter Millar polo shirt. Okay, there are 80, and then I filter to pre-owned. There are 79,000 listed, and there are only 12,000 sold. Awful sell-through rate, right? But I noticed that this line says Summer Comfort. So now we're going to type in Summer Comfort. Okay, 5,500 have sold. Almost half of the Peter Millar polos that have sold are from the Summer Comfort, and there are only 28,000 listed. So there are, what was it? 89,000 listed with only 12,000 sold. But then there were 5,500, which is what, 46% of the sales were Summer Comfort with only 28,000 listed. So it went from 89,000 to 28,000, which cut that into thirds. But then on the sales price, it was only cut. But then on the solds, it was only cut in half. So if you find a Peter Millar polo shirt, you're probably going to pass on it. But if you find the Summer Comfort, there's a higher chance that you're going to get it. Then you can type in stripes, and you can see how the sell-through rate changes. You can type in the size. You can see how sell-through rate changes. You can type in the length of shirt and see how the sell-through rate changes. And you just keep playing around with it, with the different. And then like if you see that it's like 100% cotton, or it's like 60% polyester, or it's 100% Pima cotton, or just all these different things. So you just have to run a little bit more tests with them. That's why I really like selling electronics. One of the main reasons is it has a model number. Just type it in, you're good to go. I was killed by shipping fees on a bunch of power tools I sold once they went past the Rockies, the weight and dimensions. I'm gonna sell the rest locally to cut down on that. Just charge shipping. Sounds like you did free shipping, or you put in the calculations wrong. So yeah, just do an accurate price with an accurate shipping method, and you won't get washed on them. Let me know if you're still here, how you did the shipping, because you shouldn't have gotten washed on them. I sell subwoofers and TVs, and I never get washed on shipping, just because if you put in the shipping, the correct shipping method, then you'll be good to go. But guys, the Jazz have already started playing, I think. Tip off in a couple minutes, so I'm probably gonna get going here for a second. If you guys have any burning questions, go ahead and put them in right now, and I will get to them. Karen, thanks for asking. The new Facebook page is JRide Picks. So I got demonetized on JRide Flips for using some unapproved music. So, and they just won't, even though my account is in good standing, they won't remonetize it. So I'm asking you all to please follow me on JRide Picks on Facebook. It is a huge revenue stream for my wife and I that we lost, and we would love to have it back. So thank you so much for helping out. Please follow us on JRide Picks on Facebook. Gem Drop says, have you spoken about the breakout of used condition for clothes that eBay is rolling out in 2025? Do you think it will last or fizzle out like item specifics? Yeah, I haven't spoken about it yet. I'm going to do some more research on it and see what's popping. But I haven't found like a huge change on eBay that makes me less money is my thing. So I sent you a picture on Instagram. Well, Paige, let's check it out live. Let's see what's popping. What do you think about this thumbnail? I only have a logo in it, but I thought it might convert anyway. Oh, this is good. Paige, this is really good. Yeah, honestly, what I would do is like I would actually just take out your what's it called? Your little logo. I would just have the thumbnail without your logo. I think it would perform even better. Just because the topic is strong. So whether you're talking about it or I'm talking about it or Mr. Beast is talking about it, the topic is strong and the thumbnail is actually really good. So I would, if you want to keep it in, you can, but I would even just take it out. It's a great one. But yeah, I won't show the audience now because then they'll be less likely to click when they see it because they'll psychologically have already seen it. So everyone watch Paige's next video. Should be a good one. Any other questions? Thanks for the info. Seems like I just need to refine my picking skills. I've only been at it for 6 months. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing something wrong when I see newer people doing better than me. The first thing that you're doing wrong, Mavis, is you are comparing yourself to others. So only compare yourself to yourself and just keep getting better every single day. You can be inspired by other people and you can learn what not to do from other people. But the second that you start comparing yourself to them, it's only negative. It's never positive. Okay. I've learned that through others and through myself. I don't really compare myself to other people. I'm human. I do it every once in a while. But yeah, if you compare yourself to others, it only leads to negative sentiment. So you can be happy for other people that they're doing extremely well and you can be motivated by that. But some people, like, as I was talking about that retail arbitrage thing, like it's sometimes it's just like a sixth sense that I just kind of know, oh, this isn't going to go to zero. And I don't know how to explain it. And then I do some research and then it confirms my original thought. But some people just have that, like, that experience or that knowledge or that gut feeling or sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I just know, like, oh, this is one of those things that even if a lot of people get their hands on it, there's still going to be a demand for it. So I'm going to buy a ton of it. Or I don't know. It's just hard to explain. Sometimes it's just there, right? Hi, Jake. Hope you and your family had a great Christmas. How's everyone doing tonight? Thanks, TC. I'm heading out soon, but thanks for being here. Christmas was awesome. I love Christmas. I just love everything about the holiday. It's awesome. Christmas is great. What process do you find most efficient for inputting your listings? I'm not sure if I understand the question, but I list all of my items with my cell phone and I copy listings off of already sold items. So if I find a Canon PowerShot D20, then I type in Canon PowerShot D20. I find one with the same colorway that has sold, and I make sure that it has a good listing, and then I copy that listing, and I put in my price, and all of my business policies are already set up in my phone, how I like them, and I hit submit. So make sure that you have your business policies set up, and it will increase how quickly you're able to list things. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go watch the Jazz game. If anyone else has some burning questions they'd like to ask, please go ahead and ask them. I'll answer maybe 2 or 3 more questions, and then I'll go watch the Jazz game. It's a tankathon. Okay. For those of you that care, while you guys are asking a few more questions, I'll explain this. So, in the NBA, the best teams get the worst draft picks, and the worst teams get the best draft picks. Okay. It is against the rules of the league to intentionally lose, but you can trade away your best players on purpose so that way your team sucks. So even though they try their hardest, they'll lose, right? So the Jazz and the Trailblazers suck, and they're both trying to suck so that way they can get a really good draft pick, because this year's draft and next year's NBA draft are both very elite. So both of these teams are trying to lose. And it's weird because I'm a Jazz fan and I'm rooting for the other team. It's hilarious. But in 2 or 3 or 4 years, I'll be rooting for the Jazz because it'll be during a different time in their rebuild, right? So for those of you that care, I'm really rooting that the Jazz lose tonight. They're playing another awful team called the Trailblazers, who are also trying to lose. So yeah, Philadelphia did that for a few years and we saw how that turned out. Unfortunately, they drafted brats. So Ben Simmons, 0 work ethic. Joel Embiid, he's an all right guy, but he's always injured and he makes excuses instead of getting on the court. It's unfortunate. But yeah, it also has to do a lot with management. And, you know, the Pistons have also just gotten severely unlucky because, again, it's against the rules to tank, to try to be bad. So the NBA has put in governing systems to make it harder to tank. So it used to be the worst team gets the best pick, but now it's the 5 worst teams all have a pretty good shot at getting the best pick, but it's random in what's called a lottery. So they're always trying. So the Pistons have had the worst second or third worst record every year for the last 5 years, but they haven't always gotten a good pick. Yeah, I feel bad for Detroit too, man. It's wild, but they're gonna be good. Honestly, I think there's a good chance that the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz make a trade that will be beneficial for both of us. Walker Kessler for Jaden Ivey. I know a lot of you guys don't care about this, but I really enjoy talking about it. So I'm glad that you guys are, you know, sticking around while I do it. Still trying to link up with you on Facebook, bro. There's a couple of J-Rides on there already. Some dude hit me up and it ain't you. Yeah, don't buy crypto from anyone by the name of J-Ride. It's always a scam. Don't buy any crypto. And yeah, don't message me on Facebook because I just don't. Let's see. On Facebook, like, I hope this doesn't come across as arrogant at all, but let's check out my messages. It's wild. Let's see. I get about Yeah, I have I think over 700 unread messages on Facebook because I just get so many of them, and it would be impossible to actually answer them all. So, if you the best way to reach me is one of the main reasons I do these lives is so you guys can contact me and ask me questions, because it's in these lives that I dedicate time to answering questions. But I'm getting DMs on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and my email all the time. My email is the second best place to reach me, but I'm also getting a ton of emails from people asking about reselling, but also sponsorship deals and my banks and my other businesses and other important things in my life. So the best place to reach me is right here. Does your wife still play ball? No, she was planning on playing one more year of soccer for Utah Tech, the University in St. George, but she actually had a season-ending hip injury. She has had bad hips her whole life. Her junior year of high school, she had a hip surgery on her right hip, and then in college, during her junior year of college, she had a hip surgery that she got in the off season, and then she had an incredible senior year. Because of COVID, she got a COVID red shirt where even if she played the whole season, she was allowed to play an additional season if she wanted it. So she was going to come back for that 5th year senior red shirt, but she retore her hip, and she would have gotten another medical red shirt, but it just wasn't on our timeline to go back and play again. So she decided that we would move on from soccer and move up here and start our family. So we're excited to do that. And she definitely, it's a very sad thing. She definitely wanted to play that last year. She definitely wishes she could, and she definitely misses it. But we have extensive conversations about it, and she's very happy where she is right now too. So, question: why won't you answer your Facebook messages? Because I get too many of them. Fartsec. No joke, women's soccer players have more hair on their chest than guys. Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. And I really liked women's soccer because I actually, like, when it comes to flopping, I actually respect it because you actually have to be smart and good at it to pull it off. So if you can pull off a flop that draws a penalty or a foul from the other team, I'm all for it. Like, you're just better than your opponent. Good on you. But I really like women's soccer because they just don't flop, man. They just square their shoulders and they just play soccer. And when they get knocked down, it's because they actually get knocked down, and it makes for more entertaining play. So I enjoy that. But with that being said, I also, I just like if you're able to outsmart your opponent and you pull it off successfully, I'm there for it. So. How do you realistically find your garage and estate sales for inventory? Right now, they're non-existent. because there's snow on the ground where I live and ain't nobody doing garage sales. But there's estate sales. I just get them all off Facebook. But during the summer, I just drive around. During the summer, I just drive down the like main streets, not like actual main street, but you guys know what the main streets are in your cities and towns. Just drive down those and look for signs. That's what I do. Like I don't spend a ton of time beforehand like trying to find yard sales. I just get up before the sun and I start driving. So like I'll when I before I go to sleep, I will browse Facebook Marketplace to try to find a few of them. But then after like 4 or 5, or once it's like 8 o'clock, I'm just driving around looking for signs. I found myself comping curling irons today. Bought an iced tea maker, a KitchenAid blender. Weird day shopping. That's my everyday, man. Look, I bought a InStyler today, which is a curling iron. I also bought a KitchenAid food processor. And what's the other thing you said? And a tea maker. I didn't find any profitable tea makers, but I did find a doTERRA diffuser, which kind of looks like one of those retro tea makers. So yeah, you had my day, man. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate everything you do for me. Please follow me on JRidePicks on Facebook and YouTube if you haven't. But on JRidePicks, we should be monetized back on there pretty soon with your guys' help and support and just doing what we do. But I love you guys so much. I really truly hope that you guys make more money than you ever have and spend more time with your family than you ever have. Even if I make a little bit less money, because we're taken care of, we're set, and I truly mean that. Obviously, I want to continue to make money and work really hard, but even if you guys put me out of business, we're good. I want you guys to live better lives because you deserve it. Love you guys. See you later.